welcome back to Greenhil Junction. This video is going to be a loco repair. So what you see in front of you is my beloved Hornby Railroad 9F, which unfortunately has suffered quite badly from Mazak rot. Now, Mazak rot, if you've never heard of it, Sam's Trains did a really good video on it a few months ago, which is how I found out what was wrong with this. And he actually featured this again in a video last week about lemon locos, which was quite funny actually. Now, whilst I agree with him that it is ridiculous that this model has suffered from this, it's actually a really good model. It's really detailed for a railroad. It's very powerful, it's very reliable, and it just looks great. And the only reason I knew something was wrong with it was because the tender was just getting dragged along, the wheels weren't rotating. And I was like, oh, what on earth's going on? And I opened up the tender, and it basically has a fake motor in it, I guess as a weight, and it fell apart because of the Mazak rot. And Mazak rot is basically caused by the manufacturer, whoever it was in China for this model, using very poor ingredients to make the plastic. Now, hopefully you can see, if I hold this up to the camera, you can see that it looks like a dried riverbed. It's all cracked. And that's Mazak rot. And basically it just falls apart or under very little pressure, so you can start cracking bits off it, although I have done a fair bit of cracking on this, but you know, it literally crumbles like that. So I had to rip all the insides out, and I am left with the tender chassis, the 2 pickups and 3 wheels. Now, my plan is that if I tip the wheels out, so hopefully, if I can, this is really difficult, so I'm trying to do this over my shoulder. Now, in the tender chassis there's 2 grooves. There's one there and there's one here that the wheels with the axle sleeves, which are these ones with the gold sleeves on it, sit in quite nicely. There's also a little stamp in the middle that says S9887, and actually a wheel sits quite nicely in there as well. So what my plan is to super glue the axle sleeves in place, because the axle sleeves are exactly as they sound. It's a sleeve over the axle, so it can get held in place whilst the wheels still rotate. Now, the middle wheel of the tender comes without an axle sleeve, but what you need to do is you just go on eBay and you can get a pack of 2 for, I think it was like £4, something like that. Now, this was made in China, so apparently there's a difference between the Chinese ones and the Margate ones, so I had to make sure I ordered the Chinese ones. And it's a really simple case of splitting apart the wheels. So if you just apply some pressure, one wheel comes off. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some lubricant in the axle, or the axle sleeve even, just to help things along. You just slide the wheel in. And clamp down the other wheel. So now that's moving quite freely. Yeah, so good old super glue. Stick them in place, let it set, and then see how it goes. Because there isn't a lot of weight in the tender now that the fake motor's out. But bear in mind, you know, this is going to be getting towed, and it's going to tow, so there'll be a lot of forces going through the wheels, so I'm going to stick it, test it, and see what happens. But I think if I want to strengthen it, all I need to do is get bits of plastic. So I'm thinking old sweepers from the track, and because they're quite flexible, and I'll just bend them over the axles and just super glue them either side. With the pickups, I've left them attached just now because, again, once the wheels are in and I'm quite happy, I'm thinking that, again, I could probably use sleepers and just kind of create some sort of mount to mount these in place, and that way I still get the pickups from the wheels. If I don't, it's no great disaster. I've tested this without the pickups and it runs. Probably just won't run as smoothly. Now some of you will probably be sitting thinking, well, what are you doing all this for? Why don't you just wait for Hornby to bring out their one that they're bringing out at the end of the year? Oh, sorry, kicked the camera. Now yeah, I could do that. I could just spend £90 and do that, but it's I think it was an as preserved one. So down in the very bottom corner here, they've got one of those incredibly annoying high voltage stickers, caution high voltage stickers, which to me totally ruin the model. I don't get why they do it, because anyone that runs Steam, anyone that runs Modern Image runs Modern Image, and any of them that have a heritage line just run old Steam without the hazard stickers on it. So I didn't want to spend £90 to like take that body off and put it on, when I thought, well, I could spend £4 and try this, and then if it doesn't work, then I'll spend £90, if that makes sense, because I want a 9F. Bottom line is I want a working 9F. So yeah, so let me get I need to oil up the other two axles, and then we'll glue it in and see what happens. Alright, so back in a bit. Okay, here goes nothing. So I've got my chassis set up on a sort of cradle, using the broken parts of the old motor. Keep the wheels off the ground. I've got the 3 sets of wheels with the axle sleeves on. I've just applied super glue in there, so I'm going to drop one of the sets of wheels in. And try and get it to sit in the middle. Okay, done worse. I'll get this other side in now. You'll excuse the bangs. One of my idiot neighbours is deciding to set off fireworks for whatever reason, even though it's not the 5th of November. So, just frustrating. Right, that's 2 in. I'm trying to make sure that the axles are, or the axle sleeves are pretty much centre and straight. I'm just doing that by eye, because the wheels will move about in the axle. Yeah, it's going okay so far. I think I'm actually gonna, no, I will super glue this. Man, that stuff's mobile. It's way too much. Right, sorry if the last video was a little bit disjointed. My pain in the backside neighbour decided to let off fireworks on a random Thursday night, which scared the life out of my dog, so he actually came running into the room where I was doing the last filming, and then I had to spend the rest of the night comforting him and calming him down. So, so we're back now, no fireworks tonight hopefully, and this is what we've ended up with. So the 3 axles are our axle sleeves are all super glued in and they're all solid, and all the wheels rotate nicely. You'll see that the middle sits just higher than the other two, which I actually knew was going to happen, but I had no option, because if I didn't put an axle sleeve on that before I super glued it in, then the wheel would be stuck, or the wheels would be stuck in place, because the axle would be stuck in place. Then if that was at the same level as that, this would just catch and drag and cause all sorts of problems. So as it stands just now, that'll move quite nicely on its own. No dragging or anything. Oops. So I've tested it as it is, and it works. It goes around no problem, but the loco does kind of stop at random places, and the only thing that's different is that the pickups aren't connected right now, because the fake engine that was in here, it was essentially just a weight. It was nothing. So the only thing I can think of that's causing that is the pickups. So what I've done is I have poly cemented on a couple of old sleepers, and these actually fit quite nicely onto the chassis like that. So I'll glue them onto the chassis, making sure that the pickups are on the inside of the relative or respective axles, and then that should be the job done, and we'll come back, give it a test, see what happens. Alright, so I'll get sticking and come back when it's running. As usually happens with all good plans, it all went horribly wrong. For some reason, neither my poly cement or even super glue managed to hold plastic sleeper to the pickup, or the plastic sleeper in turn to the chassis, because I got it all stuck down, thought it was great, sent it off for a run, and one of them just popped off completely. So, plan B. What I'm thinking is, well, I spoke to one of the guys at work about it, and he said super glue apparently doesn't stick certain plastics together, and got very technical about it to the point I got bored, to be honest. So what my solution is the metal axle sleeves are stuck solid to the plastic, so metal sticks to plastic with super glue. So I have got myself spare bits of rail, cut them to size, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick these on with super glue in place, and one of them very handily fits in there between these two bits. Another one will just need to get gently placed there, and once they're stuck in place, I will then stick the pickups to the rails, and hopefully that works. So yeah, next video it'll either be plan C or plan B has worked. So let's see what happens. So back in a bit. Right, good news, plan B worked. The super glue holding on the metal between the two bits of plastic has set, everything stayed in place, and the hopefully you will see it. You can just see the contacts are just on the inside of the wheels as they were before. Not the neatest job in the world, I'll admit to that, but it works. So, you know, that has cost me a grand total of £4 for an axle sleeve, but I have solved the Mazak drop problem without having to get rid of a model that I really liked or spend £90 on the new model. So send it around the track as it is just now, just so you can see how it runs. It does, I've tested it, and the front wheel skips ever so slightly going over points. So also I've still got the tender cover I put on, but that's not particularly heavy, so I might end up adding a weight. But it runs, so that's the main thing. So let's just set it off in the wrong direction. I tested it backwards as well. Moving on from that mess. Now if we watch it on this set of points, you'll see the tender just have a little skip. Oh. Yeah, tiny little skip. I don't think it's going to be any big issue. There it goes, right round without stopping. Just see if I can get it to skip on these points. Maybe the camera's not picking it up, but there is a ever so slight skip. So I'll put the tender cover back on, attach the wagons to it, and see how it goes with that. So back in a sec. Okay, moment of truth time. While she back up over the points, connect to not the carriages, wagons, and then go back over the points without derailing. I've not tried this yet, so let's give it a go. Okay, that appeared to be the loco that had a skip. Yep, front wheels came off for some reason. There we go. Good old hand of God to fix that. Right, let's go forwards. Now that to me is running perfectly. Doesn't appear to be skipping, derailing or anything like that on the points. And it's pulling those wagons around, no problem at all. So there you go, a £4 repair to get rid of the dreaded Mazak rot on a Hornby 9F with a few spare parts that were kicking about, i.e. bits of rail. So I hope that was useful for you. If you're suffering from the same problems that I've got, leave any comments you have, subscribe to the channel for more updates. And thanks very much for watching, and speak to you all again soon. Cheers.